Please could I ask you to make feel very welcome here at Sam in Vegas, the fantastic Robert Scrobe.
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me.
Thank you, buddy. Wow, what an event. Would you give a great round of applause for Andrew and Chris, who've put together so much care, such a great lineup that we have the opportunity to take advantage of. My goodness. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to have the opportunity to be here at SAM. And really I want to talk about one of the biggest trends in business today. You hear all kinds of reports about the subscription business being the new trend that customers don't want to buy, they want to subscribe, and that the continuity model is the highest value business that you can have. You get much higher multiples of EBITDA when you sell, and you get to get the customers you have this month, you add to the customers you get next month because they're all on a subscription. And it's a beautiful business model, except that most of the businesses in the subscription world actually look like this. They're losing as many members every month as they're gaining. I've talked to a bunch of clients throughout the world, and one of them a couple days ago told me, they're like, we get a bunch of new members, and all our new, the fact that we got new members is great, but all it does is increase the number of canceled members that we have. And one of the real biggest problems that I see that the subscription businesses are tripping on is what I call that credit card moment of truth. How many times have you bought something and then you go in, you get your statement on paper, or you log into your credit card account and you look at the amount due and you thought, oh, how am I going to pay that? Well, a lot of times your customers are facing that too. And the first thing that you think is, oh my gosh, what's on here that I didn't buy? And then failing that, it's like, oh, what's on here that I can return so that I can make the payment? Well, what's worse, not only are your customers doing that, but their spouses are incurring that too. And then they're going to your customer going, what is this? Why did you buy and why? And I can tell you 45 days or 60 days after your customer bought your product or your subscription, your customer isn't going to be very good at making your pitch. Right? Your pitch to your customer is a lot better than your customer's pitch to their spouse about why they need to keep your product. And so what's that mean to you? It's a cancellation. A customer that you lose. The promise that you had of this continuity income gets lost when they got their statement and they see it in the context of all the other money that they're spending. What we're going to talk about today is how to get through that credit card moment of truth and how to retain your customers longer by not focusing so much on the sale, but what happens after, what I call the new member on-ramp. And we're going to go through the 3 mistakes that subscription businesses make that cause them to, that when they try to fix retention, that actually often makes it worse, their churn rate's worse. And we're going to help you, either if you don't have a subscription program, help you start it in the right way, or if you do, really go through some strategies that may have been tripping you up and even into your best attempts, keeping your retention rates low. I have several strategies that I'm going to walk you through, but we're going to do it in the context to have an example of Charles. Charles is 69 years old. He's a retired engineer. And for 40 years, Charles' self-worth has been based on being a provider, bringing money home to his family. And, he's had CEOs calling him from around the world on $100 million construction projects. And he's been important his entire career. And now all of a sudden that he's retired, nobody calls anymore. He saved a nice income, but over the last couple of years since he retired, the money is dwindling. And he sees this pile that he's made getting smaller. And he's panicking because he has no idea how long he's going to live or how long his wife is going to live, what the expenses are going to be. And now this ability to make earned income has disappeared. And what we're going to do is talk about a couple of clients that I've had is a subscription business, a $1 billion company that sells how to invest products, information products, and then also another company that is a SaaS business that serves the type of investor that Charles is. We're going to talk about how instead of focusing on the product, you focus on what Charles's goal is and where he wants to become and how it changes everything about subscription retention so that you can apply, so not just see the tool, but also see how the tool works so you can apply it in your own business. This chart is based on Netflix numbers. And I don't know if you notice this or not, but when you are watching Netflix, they're tracking what you watch. And what the statistics show is these are the Netflix streaming shows. You've got at the top, Master of None, Walking Dead, and what the red blocks represent is the number of episodes within the first season. And what the gold blocks represent are what Netflix calls the hooked episode. And what they found is like Orange is the New Black. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you're into or have been into Orange is the New Black. We'll let that be your own secret. But so Orange is the New Black, what they discovered was if somebody watches the third episode, 70% of them finish the whole first season. 732 minutes worth of viewing. That decision is made in the first 60 to 90 minutes of watching that program. How many times have you had a customer or a member that loves you so much you couldn't get rid of them if you wanted to? They're so emotionally invested in what you have to offer, they can't wait for the next thing. Well, that's very similar to Netflix and being hooked on that program. You want to see what happens to those characters. So that emotional state, so Netflix doesn't just like you get your subscription and then hope you stick. No, they engineer their shows and they're analyzing, okay, is it a plot twist that at that episode that gets them to stay? Is it because they go deep on one character that they care about, or they care about several characters? They're thinking about what is it about that hooked episode that gets that customer hooked, that gets that viewer to watch the entire season. And what I'm challenging you is, what is your retention point? Where is it that your customers not just buy, certainly buying is part of the process because they can't fall in love with you and what you deliver until after they buy, but then what is the point at which they fall in love with you and you couldn't get rid of them even if you wanted to? So we're going to talk about how to get your customers to the retention point and the 3 mistakes that most membership marketers make in doing that. Number 1 is giving members too much value. How many times have you created a subscription program or you want to improve retention and you decide, oh, well, I'm going to offer 4 calls a month instead of just 1. Or I'm going to give 6 bonuses instead of 3. And that's going to get more people to buy from me than anybody else. Well, the fact is value is just like water. Too much is just as bad as too little. And when you're delivering a newsletter and it's 12 pages long, 24 pages isn't going to double retention, right? People don't want to read more. Make the 12 pages better because it's helping the customer solve the particular problem that they have. So more simply of what you're delivering is not going to improve retention. See it over and over again. Mistake number 2, send members a gift. Oh, people like food. Everybody likes food. And send out your new members a gift that they'll love. If somebody has a problem that they came to you to solve and you send them a box of cookies, like your plumber shows up and you've got water spraying all over under your sink and he's like, oh, well, here's a box of cookies. You're like, no, I don't care about your cookies. Go fix the dang sink. That's why I called you, right? People don't want your cookies. They want your solution. When you showed up, you said you were going to help them with something. Give them that in a way that's useful rather than a gift. Like our friend Charles, he doesn't want more stuff. He doesn't want a gift. He's got a problem. And that problem is his income, his savings is dwindling, and he doesn't have the ability to replace it. Let's help him by giving him stock picks that he can use. Let's train him on how to use those and how to have the diligence and patience you need in order to invest. Now you've taken him from somebody who feels weak, powerless, overwhelmed by the choices, and helped him become confident and become a provider again and tap into his strength, to give him his mojo back. You have helped transform Charles by giving him helping solve his problem. How do you solve problems for your members? What is the beginning state when customers come to you that have a challenge? And what is the problem that you solve? And then afterwards, how do they feel about that? Do they have clarity over what to do versus overwhelm? Do they have confidence because they've been able to solve a problem in their life? Do they feel better about where they are in their lives? That is what you focus on and deliver more of, and instead of trying to stack up more calls and more pages. Next, third problem is focusing too much on your stuff. All my clients, whether subscription box clients who come to me, are always focused on, we're going to have 6 items in our box instead of 5, and that's going to improve retention by 20%. Or the SaaS companies I work with, they say, we got this special thing that we're going to do in the software, and that's going to help people. Don't tell me about the software. Or printer, publishers that send publications out, we've got the best editors. People always focus on the products. Our buddy Charles, he doesn't care about your editors. He wants to know if what they have to deliver is going to solve their problem. Your customers, it's kind of nice. They probably like you, but they really are more interested in how you're going to help them solve their problem and what you're going to do as a result. One of my clients since 2003 are Harley-Davidson dealers of Florida. And Harley-Davidson is a premium product. It costs 20 to 30% more than any other motorcycle within their category. And yet Harley-Davidsons represent more than 50% of all motorcycles sold in their categories. Think about that for a second. Do you know another luxury product that has more than 50% of the market share? It'd be like Neiman Marcus and clothes outselling Amazon and Walmart and Target and everybody else combined. And that's what Harley-Davidson does. Is it because of their value? Are Harley-Davidson motorcycles that much better, 30% better than any other motorcycle? Do they go 30% faster? Are there Harley-only lanes that you can get through traffic that you can't get through any other way? Is it because of the value? No, it's because of the feeling that motorcycle provides. The feeling that it gives the customer to go from being obscure, not being known, to being feared when you drive down the road, to being part of a community where you're welcome no matter who you are. And that freedom that you get, that feeling of release, of being able to be out on that open road and be able to have those breaks in your life from all the problems that you have, and to be able to get out and have a couple hours where you can release your inner badass. That's what that product is about. And because of it, not only are they able to command a margin, command a premium price, but they're also able to dominate every single one of their competitors. Your value isn't about what you deliver. It's about the feeling of what your product delivers. How it makes your customer feel about themselves. Does it increase their status? Does it help them feel like they're more important than other people because they're part of your community? Does it help them feel like they're smarter than they were yesterday or the people around them? Look, we're at an amazing event here at SAM. Don't you feel a little bit smarter than the people that you walk past at the slot machines? And some of you might be in here, but you're like, you walk past them Or even your other peers that you see at other places, you're like, yeah, I'm smarter than them. I know this about that, and I know. Well, how do you help your customers feel smarter than others because they're your customer? Superior because they're part of your community. Your product, nobody whose kids went hungry yesterday is going to buy your product today. You are a luxury product, and luxury products are always sold based on the feeling they provide, not the actual physical value of what they deliver. My wife can tell me all kinds of things about one bag versus another. It's the feeling she gets of relief when she carries that purse of that inner badass, and that's what the feeling that it gets. That's what you're selling. For our buddy Charles, being able to have the right information, not too much, because too much is going to be overwhelming and create more overwhelm. And then he doesn't care about the gifts. He just wants to solve his problem. And that if you want to amp up the value, amp up the feelings that you provide and that you deliver, and help him see that that by implementing what you're giving him, if you're going to teach him financial investing, that's going to help him become a better provider, and that he's going to be able to, being able to earn money, and it's like one thing to have some information your buddies don't. That's kind of cool, is being smart around your buddies. Another thing is being able to hand your wife money or take her on a trip that she's excited about, and you're not worried about the money because you got it in the stock market. The feeling is the value. Now, these are just 3 of the mistakes that are in the book Retention Point, and also there are also 10 retention point accelerators that help you implement these and get your customers to the retention point more quickly so that you can retain more customers. Of course, the book is available on Amazon.com and bookstores everywhere.